Lesson 1-8, an introduction to equations. We're getting this close to real algebra. This close. Only 3 vocabulary words: equation, open sentence, and solution of an equation. An equation is merely a math sentence. It has an equal sign. If there's no equal sign, it's not an equation. An open sentence is an equation with at least one variable. And I almost didn't make you write this down. The solution of an equation, duh, is the answer. Or an answer. There might be more than one. The vocabulary answer that the definition I expect you to be able to give me is the solution of an equation is an answer to the equation. Take a look at page 53. We are looking at true, false, and open. An equation is true if the expressions on either side of the equal sign are equal. For example, 1 plus 1 is true. This is a true equation. X plus x equals 2x. So far so good, although we don't know what x is. An equation is false if the expressions, that's just hard to see, on either side of the equal sign are not equal. 1 plus 1 equals 3. That's a false equation. X plus x equals 3x. That's a false equation. An equation is an open sentence if it contains one or more variables and may be true or false depending on the values of its variables. Problem 1. Do not write these down. We're just going to zip through this together. Is the equation true, false, or open? Explain. 24 plus 18 is equal to 20 plus 22 is true because both sides of this equation are equal to 42. 7 times 8 equals 54 is false because 7 times 8 equals 56, and 56 does not equal 54. 2x minus 14 equals 54 is an open sentence because there's a variable. This being true depends on what our solution is for x. This is an open sentence because it will be true if x works in this equation. Got it? Number 1. Is the equation true, false, or open? Don't write it down, just pay attention. 3y plus 6 equals 5y minus 8. This is open. Why? Because it has variables in it. Might be true, might be false, depends on what value we put in for y. Letter B. 16 minus 7 equals 4 plus 5. Well, 16 minus 7 is 9. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 equals 9 most days, so this equation is true. Letter C. 32 divided by 8 equals 2 times 3. Well, 32 divided by 8 is 4, equals 2 times 3, which is 6. That would be false. That one does not work. Turn the page, page 54. Problem 2. Identifying solutions of an equation. What's a solution of an equation? Remember, this is the definition where I said, duh, solution is what makes it right, what makes the equation true. Is x equals 6 a solution of the equation 32 equals 2x plus 12? Well, try 6 out wherever it says x. Does 32 equal 2 times 6 plus 12? The word we use is substitute, 6 for x. 32 does not equal 24. No, x equals 6 is not a solution. Check out got it. Is m equals a half a solution of the equation 6m minus 8 equals negative 5? As we did with the last video. Go ahead and solve this on your own if you are confident. If not, I'm about to work through it with you. We have been given the equation 6m minus 8 equals negative 5. We've been given a possible solution, m equals 1/2. We're going to substitute 1/2 in every time m is used in this equation. So the next step looks like this. 6 times 1/2 minus 8 equals negative 5. See, the only thing I changed was I put 1/2 in here to replace the letter m, the variable m. Simplify. 6 times 1/2 is 3. 3 minus 8 equals negative 5. Does that work? It sure does. -5 is -5. Happy day! That is a solution to the equation. Problem 3, I have a problem with. The reason I have a problem with it is because they've set it up as practice as a multiple choice problem. They've done that because of standardized tests, and some of you know how much I love standardized tests. But the math is still something I need you to understand, so I'm going to go through it in my own way. A student is trying to make a model of a ball court. The length of the court is 2.4 times the width. The length of the model is 54 inches. So first, we're going to turn this into an equation. The first step is down here with these rectangles. The length is 2.4 times the width. They're using the variable w for width. We know that the length is 54 inches, so now we substitute 54 for the length, an equal sign for the word is, 2.4 stays, the dot for times, and our variable w for width. And then what they want done is test out each of the answers that they give you to see what works. They gave you an answer of 2.4 inches. They go through that math. If you put in 2.4, if you substitute 2.4 for w, does that work out? No. The letter B choice that they give you is 11.25, and that doesn't work out. The letter C answer they give you, 22.5, does work. That's your answer. Focus down here on got it number 3. The length of the ball court at La Venta is 14 times the height. Write an equation that can be used to find the height of a model that has a length of 49 centimeters. They're not asking for a solution for the equation, they just want the equation. How do you do that? They told you in the question that the length of the ball court is 14 times the height of the walls, which means if the length is 14 times the height of the walls, and they tell you that the length is 49 centimeters, you can use this equation. 49 equals 14 times h. Your answer will be in centimeters because the 49 is in centimeters. That's all there is to number 3. This should be written in your homework book. Problem 4, using mental math to find solutions. What is the solution of each equation? They give you x plus 8 equals 12, and they want you to figure out what's going to make that correct. Well, 4 is. Does it work if you check it? Yes. I'm kind of hoping you're at the point where you don't have to double check to figure out what 4 plus 8 is. Letter B, a over 8 equals 9. What's going to make that work? What number divided by 8 equals 9? So you think, and you think, and you think, and you remember, oh yeah, 72. Since they're asking you to use mental math for number 4, it seems to me that we don't need to bother to write this down in our books. What's the solution of 12 minus y equals 3? How are you going to figure that out? You're going to use your noodle. 12 minus what gives you 3? Use your fingers, use your toes, whatever you need to figure it out. You should come up with the answer of 25. No, you're right. You should come up with the answer of 9. 12 minus 9 equals 3. Moving right along. Another way to find solutions for equations is to use a table. What's the solution for this equation? Well, let me zoom out a little bit. It's kind of hard to see these. They suggest if you are given 5n plus 8 that you start with an easy number like 1. Well, if you substitute 1 in for n, 5 plus 8 equals 13. That's a lot smaller than 48. Try a bigger number, 10. 5 times 10 plus 8 equals 58, which is too big, but only a little bit too big. So they recommend just making a chart to narrow this down a little bit. Put in several different numbers. They used 5, they used 6, they used 7, they used 8, and they came up with all the solutions. You'll notice down here when you get to 5 times 8 plus 8 gives you 48, the solution you were looking for. I'd like you right now to write out number 5 in your homework notebooks. What is the solution of 25 minus 3p equals 55? Use a table just like they set up here, except instead of 5n plus 8, your table is going to be 25 minus 3p. Instead of looking for 48, you are looking for 55. The second part to this question is what's a good starting value? And you might even come up with 2 good starting values, one that's too small and one that's too big, kind of like we did up here with 1 and 10. So you think, I'll think, then we'll do this together. So as we were doing last night, if you feel confident doing this on your own, go ahead and do it on your own. Skip ahead to where I give you the answer. If this confuses the heck out of you, just follow along. First thing you need to do is set up your table. We're going to start picking values for p. That's going to go in this column. The equation that we're putting in, that we're plugging p into, is 25 minus 3 times p. And this is going to be our answer for when we figure out what this is equal to. The first thing that I used for p, and you might have used something different, the first thing that I used is 10. And I realized that if I substitute 10 in, 25 minus 3 times 10, which is 30, 25 minus 30, gives you negative 5. That is a long way from the 55 that we are looking for. So I figured, okay, let's see what happens if we put in, well, we could do a bunch of different things. We could put in 1, we could put in 100. Go ahead and try a few things. What I decided to do was, if this was negative, we got to have a negative number here. So what happens if we try negative 10? And then I got lucky. 25 minus 3 times negative 10 gives us 55, which is the answer that we are looking for. The other part to this question, what was a good starting value? Well, for me 10 worked because it gave me the information that I needed. Think about what's good about using a table when you're trying to do these questions. It's a very helpful way to figure it out. But what happens if I tried 1 and then 5 and then 10 and then 20? It could have taken me a lot of tries before I came up with the right value. So this is a helpful tool, but it is definitely limited. So we have 2 tools already. Problem 4 had us using a mental math to find solutions. Problem 5 had us using a table to find a solution. Problem 6 has us using a table and estimating a solution. Why are we estimating? Well, because the exact answer is a yucky number, and we didn't want to get that close. So let's estimate the solution of negative 9x minus 5 equals 28. And again, we're going to use a table. So they started with x equals negative 1, came up with a value of 4. Well, that's a little small. They kept on going. If you plug in negative 2, your answer is 13. If you substitute negative 3, your answer is 22. We're getting close. If you substitute negative 4, your answer is 31. Well, we're looking for 28. 28, bigger than 22, smaller than 31. The solution is between negative 3 and negative 4. It's a little closer to negative 4 because 28 is closer to 31 than it is to 22. Take a look at got it number 6. What is the solution of 3x plus 3 equals negative 22? You're going to use a table. You go ahead, get it set up. I'll meet you when you're done. Your table for number 6 should look something like this. We've got a column for x. Here's a column to figure out what 3x plus 3 is going to look like, and then the answer you get will go here. For this one, I started with the number 1 for x. Why? Because I had no idea where to start, and it seemed like an easy place to begin. Well, if you substitute 1 in for x, you end up with 3 plus 3 and a value of 6. We're trying to find negative 22, so 1 is clearly way too big. How much too big? I don't know. Let's try putting in negative 1. If you plug in negative 1 for x, Then you end up with negative 3 plus 3. The value is 0. Clearly, we're moving in the right direction. What number should we use next? What's that you say, Merrick? How about a negative 5? Okay, so if you substitute negative 5 in for x, then you have negative 15 plus 3, which gives you negative 12. Getting closer. Next number, well, I'm impatient. I don't want to go up by ones. So I'm going to put in negative 10. And then I end up with negative 30 plus 3, which gives me a value of 27, which is too small. I've gone too far. So I have to circle back a little bit. You put in negative 9. You come up with a value of 24. Negative 8 gives you a value of 21. Your answer is somewhere in between 24 and 21. Now, you may have chosen any variety of numbers here to arrive at your conclusion. Ultimately, you need to have figured out that the answer is between negative 8 and negative 9. All right. Your homework, the rest of your homework for tonight, I'd like you to take a look at page 56 and do the lesson check. It's number 1 through number 6. You may have enough time to get through all of this. Remember, I expect a good half hour on your math. So if you get to your half hour during these questions, I give you permission to stop, although it would be really excellent if you would finish them all. And we'll go over this tomorrow. Good job!